On today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, the star from Gremlins is given an update saying, hey, a Gremlins 3 is very much possibly coming, but do the audiences even want it at this point? Also, there is a new Jurassic World movie coming like in a year and a half, the summer of 2025, and they've got the John Wick and Deadpool 2 director on to do it. Also, we get our first glimpse at the new Daredevil outfit for the upcoming Daredevil Born Again, and it's put a nail in it. Madam Web is dead at this point. We're going to talk about that and a whole bunch more. The John Campea Show podcast starts right now. Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming to you from right here in our quaint little studio, brought to you in part by our friends at Mint Mobile. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies and movie news, TV and streaming, and all sorts of good stuff. Not just giving you our opinions, but giving you some information and context so you guys can form your own well-informed opinions, whether they're the same or completely different than ours. Joining me in studio today, we got Ray Orr.
It's raining.
There's a lot of rain in Southern California right now. Jonathan Voico's here.
Hey, everybody.
Normally, Chris Carr would be joining us, but she's got some car issues today, so she's not able to make it in, but we will see her again a little bit later in the week. But most importantly, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making the show part of your day, and here's how today's show is going to go. We're going to break it into two parts. The first part of the show, we're going to talk about those topics I just listed off. Then in the second part of the show, we get to the really important stuff, hearing from you guys and taking your live comments and questions. Now, a little bit earlier today, we used the community tab on the YouTube channel to ask our beloved YouTube channel members to already fire in some topics and questions. But if you guys are watching this show live, and you got to be watching live, you guys can use the super chat feature to fire in a thought, theory, opinion, question, whatever. And as long as it's appropriate for the show, we'll address that on or near the end of the show. All right, guys, with that all down, let's jump into it with this. I think it is fair to say one of the more truly beloved films for a lot of people is Gremlins. And can you believe that film was like, you have to look up the exact release date for me, Ray, but I think it's like 40 years old.
Mm-hmm. It probably is. 84 sounds about right.
Yeah, it's like right around that era. It was the early 80s that the first Gremlins came out. We got introduced to Gizmo, the Mogwai, and we all fell in love with that little frickin' puppet. And we all learned the meaning about don't let him eat after midnight.
That was June 8th, 1984.
1984, so we're getting on to the 40-year anniversary of that movie. Don't eat after midnight. Don't get them wet. Don't get them wet. It's a good rule for Gremlins and dates. I don't know why I said that, but at any rate.
What?
Now, then a sequel came out.
Especially if they are.
Yeah, especially if they are, yeah. Then a sequel came out, and not as beloved. I think that's fair to say. I still like the sequel.
Is that the one with Hulk Hogan?
Was Hulk Hogan in the sequel?
Yeah, where
It's been a long time.
If it's the 80s and it's a sequel, it's safe to say that's the one.
Hulk Hogan. There's a good chance
there was a part where they stopped the movie and like he's in the theater and he's like, "You better turn this movie back on."
I don't. It's been so long. It's been like 35 years since I've seen it. I don't remember
from it.
But and then a while ago, some whispers started going around that they might make another Gremlins movie. And then they came up with some Gremlins animated series. What was it called again?
Secrets of Mogwai.
HBO
2022.
That I can tell you, honestly, I don't know a single person who's seen it. I even forgot it came out.
I mean, I remember us getting questions asking if we were watching it, but none of us were. I mean, obviously, I don't have it.
I don't even remember.
I don't have HBO. So.
I don't even remember people asking questions if we were watching it.
No, I remember a couple, but like since I think the thing was when we found out it was animated, we kind of eased up on reporting on it. It's just the way it went.
Well, still, the rumors persisted that maybe they would do a Gremlins 3, and now the original star of the first Gremlins film, Zach Galligan, has come out and kind of said that, yeah, I think there is still going to be a third one. He said this. Galligan, in an interview with Screen Rant, stated that Warner Brothers may be planning to bring back the cult classic through the form of a live-action film. I can't really figure out why Warner Brothers would do 2 seasons of an animated show, not 1, but 2 seasons of the animated series, and spend a lot of money on it unless there was some kind of endgame. and usually the end game for a huge studio like Warner Brothers Discovery is a live-action film, he said. I don't think it'll be a reboot, though, because Chris Columbus has nixed that idea. All right, so hope still exists for a third live-action Gremlins movie. But I have to ask this question. Does anybody care? Now, listen, I am completely cognitive of the fact that Gremlins is a beloved title, right? Who doesn't love Mogwai? Who doesn't love Gizmo? But the reality is the second one was not as beloved. I don't know a single human soul personally. I'm sure some of you maybe have watched it, but I don't personally know anybody who has seen the animated thing. And with the way that the industry has evolved over the years, and there's been a lot of gremlin-isms in a lot of movies over the years, I just don't know that if you make a third Gremlin movie, that it even makes $150 million at the box office. I don't hear a lot of people. And I know that sounds weird because we all love the Gremlins. Okay? We all love them. I love them too. I just don't know why a studio would greenlight one at this point.
I have two thoughts. One is every time I go to like the toy aisle, the Gremlins figures are still there. So that might say something about maybe people don't want this. But also I remember this movie, rumblings about it started getting hotter when Grogu during Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, Grogu, by the way, would not exist if it wasn't for Gizmo. Right.
I remember somebody was saying, yeah, Gizmo is better than Grogu, and then like we would report like,
look at that face.
3, so.
Look at that face. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
It's adorable.
I know, but the way the things popped out of his skin grossed me out as a kid. I don't want to see that again because it'll probably look grosser. It's grossier.
Yeah, I just look if Chris Columbus and the studio can come up with like some wild concept and pitch it and sell it, maybe. But again, look, and I'm not gonna lie. If a new Gremlins movie was opening tomorrow in theaters, I would be there.
Yeah, me too.
I just don't know that if we'd be in an empty theater or not. I almost think more people would be at the Argyle screening, and there wasn't nobody at the Argyle screening, than would be at the thing. So I don't know, guys. Question is for you. Do you want there to be like, not just, yeah, if it's there, I'll go see it. But I mean, are you really, truly hungry for another Gremlins movie? I'd be curious to know if you are or not. Let us know down in the comments section below. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this. Speaking of beloved franchises that I don't know if they might be getting close to 40. When did Jurassic Park come out?
90.
It was in the late 80s or early 90s?
92.
92?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're at, 32 years?
Yeah.
Since Jurassic. And of course, this is a franchise that has just never stopped.
93.
Well, 93.
June 11th, 1993.
So these movies just came out, and it's not like a lot of other franchises, right? We're like, okay, yeah, they had movies 20 years ago, and then they come out with another one today. Like we got a new Beverly Hills Cop coming out, right? Jurassic World came out in 92, 93, and has never stopped coming out. It evolved from Jurassic Park into Jurassic World movies, and we live with that to this day. Now, a little while ago, one of the stars of the Jurassic World part of the franchise, Bryce Dallas Howard, mentioned that she believes there's going to be more movies, but it won't be with any of the casts that have been there already. None of the original cast, none of the Jurassic World cast. Well, now it looks like that is concrete, guaranteed, and it's coming a lot sooner than we thought. This comes to us from Deadline, who wrote the following. Universal Pictures' new Jurassic World picture is in early talks with David Leitch to direct the next film in the billion-dollar franchise. The film is set to bow on July 2nd, 2025. The new movie will be a completely fresh take on the Jurassic era, with Jurassic World cast members Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard not expected to return, nor the original trilogy's thespians Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill. All right, July 2nd, 2025. That's a year and a half from now. This thing is supposed to be in theaters?
Crazy.
That is nuts. That means this thing's has to go into production. I think it's safe to say before summer.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, minimum. One of our live viewers is just saying that that's the week before Superman Legacy comes out.
Ooh.
I mean, this thing, and maybe well before summer, this thing should probably be in production by April. Because you got to shoot, do all the post effects, all that kind of stuff. Now, so 2 really interesting things here. Number 1, coming out next summer. Again, I won't be surprised at all if we hear that they bump that date, because that seems really, really aggressive and really, really ambitious. But still, if they can do it, wow, that's a lot sooner than I thought we would get it. Secondly, the director of John Wick and Deadpool 2.
Wow.
And he's got the new movie coming out too. Fall Guy.
Yeah, right.
He's doing Fall Guy, which, by the way, if you had asked me a year ago, do I think they should do a Fall Guy movie? I would probably have said no. And then they announced it at CinemaCon back in April, and it looked really good, and I've loved the trailers we've seen since. I think this movie's going to be a banger. I think the new Fall Guy is going to be a banger. I really do. But that he would come in and direct this new one, I think is completely fascinating. There's actually kind of a third interesting thing there, which is something we've talked about before, is the fact that doing these without any of the old cast. That might seem a little bit risky, but it does offer them a way to say that this is still the world of Jurassic Park. This is not a reboot. This is the same world. And yet make it feel like a new thing. Because Jurassic World kind of did that, right? Like after all the Jurassic Parks movies, Jurassic World, love or hate it, I actually quite enjoyed Jurassic World, the first one. But love or hate it, it felt like a new thing, even though it was an old thing.
Right.
And I think by sweeping away all the old cast, and that's no disrespect to any of the old cast, they're great, and bringing in a new cast and saying this is the start of a new chapter of the Jurassic World era, I think that will get a lot of mileage for them.
But the stars have always been the dinosaurs, really, right? For
That's
me,
a great point.
But the problem they have now is Godzilla's been wrecking it in the theaters lately. So that awe factor might be gone when I see these dinosaurs because they're not as big. Whatever. Anyways, Jurassic Park will always have a special place in my heart. It might have been the peak moment of like that feeling of awe. I'll never get that again in any other movie. When they first show the dinosaurs and that song plays, it's like, those things in life where oh, this is the best it will get. Jurassic Park will hold that moment. I mean, the Avengers opening night will always be my best moment in theaters, going to the theaters. John Wick, when the puppy gets dead, when they kill that puppy, that's the most angriest I've ever been watching a movie. You hit those things where you like, it can't get any higher than this. And Jurassic Park had that moment, and nothing will ever top it, no matter how many Godzillas come out. Just that feeling of awe, or like, oh my God, this is.
But you brought up an interesting point. Like, what can Jurassic Park and the Jurassic World do now, like with Godzilla killing it? Has Godzilla been killing it?
No, I'm just saying, like, now
right?
I have that.
Right,
that
but I mean, like, so like the Godzilla movies have been making like, what, 400 million and somewhere in that neighborhood?
Killing it at the box office.
Right, yeah. Whereas the Jurassic movies have been consistently,
Billion.
even the last one, which most people don't think was all that good, still hit $1 billion, right? Those things have been constantly like cranking the $1 billion mark lately. And so, I mean, I could see why they're continuing on with it. And I think it's probably a good move. Look, I know there's going to be a lot of discussion about whether or not it's the right move to not, like, because who doesn't like seeing Jeff Goldblum or Laura Dern or Sam Neill or Bryce Dallas Howard, Chris Pratt, whatever, popping up on the screen. But it's time for a new chapter. And I could see if this continues, and if this new one is a big hit, and who knows if it will be or not, probably will be, and the next one's a big hit, I could see them doing that whole get the old cast back again. Except now the old cast is Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard.
You know who they should get to play the young, like, person in this movie?
What?
Kamala Khan. The girl who plays Kamala Khan. She should be in this franchise. Because when she saw that cat.
Well, she is great. She should. Iman Vellani is her name, by the way. And she should be in everything. I love her.
When she saw that cat and she did that scream.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah. I mean, not a lot of big highlights in the Marvel.
Not a lot.
But every part that she's in is a highlight to me. I love Iman Vellani. Good Canadian kid, by the way. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? So we've got 3 things. New Jurassic Park movies coming next summer. 2, the director David Leitch from, Deadpool 2 and John Wick and the upcoming Fall Guy is going to be directing it. 3, it's going to be with a brand new cast. How do you feel about it? Can this one continue the streak of hitting the $1 billion mark? Or do you think the time of Jurassic Park has gone the way of the Jurassic Age? Is it time to move on from it? Whatever you guys think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, listen. We still got to talk about our first look at the new Daredevil outfit from the upcoming Daredevil Born Again series on Disney+. We got to talk about the fact that Madam Web is dead. I mean, they just put a fork in it. This thing's done already before it's even come out. So we're going to talk about why. But before we do, we're going to take a quick second here and thank a couple of sponsors of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. Our friends, my mobile service provider, and they should be yours, Mint Mobile and MasterClass. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, Mint Mobile. On average, it takes about 30 days for a person to break their New Year's resolution. So if saving money was on your 2024 list, your odds aren't looking that great. Luckily, I have a 100% guaranteed way to save you money this year. Just switch to Mint Mobile. For a limited time, wireless plans from Mint Mobile are $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan. That's unlimited talk, text, and data for $15 a month. I've told you guys many times that after switching to Mint Mobile, I am spending less than a third on my cell bill than I used to with a major carrier. Say goodbye to your overpriced wireless plans, jaw-dropping monthly bills, and unexpected overages. All Mint plans come with unlimited talk and text plus high-speed data delivered on the nation's largest 5G network. And don't worry about having to change phones or numbers. Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. So guys, to get this new customer offer and your new 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/Campea. That's mintmobile.com/Campea. Cut your wireless bills to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/Campea. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's episode, MasterClass. Everyone, it's a new year. So picture that thing that you've always wanted to learn. Now, picture learning it from a person who's literally one of the best in the world at it. And that's what you get with MasterClass. This year, learn from the best to become your best with MasterClass. Don't just talk about improving. MasterClass helps you actually do it. Because MasterClass offers over 180 world-class instructors, so whether you want to master negotiation with Chris Voss, like I did, think like a boss with Martha Stewart, or learn the art of storytelling from the man himself, Neil Gaiman, MasterClass has you covered. Because with MasterClass, you get unlimited access to intimate one-on-one classes with the world's best. At MasterClass, there are over 200 classes to pick from, with new classes being added every month. And if you're a viewer of the John Campea Show, you probably love movie making, storytelling, television. So you would be totally interested in things like screenwriting from Aaron Sorkin, learn developing original TV series from Stranger Things' The Duffer Brothers, or maybe you like the music side of movies, well, you can learn film scoring from Hans Zimmer. And right now, our listeners will get an additional 15% off an annual membership at masterclass.com/Campea. Get 15% off right now at masterclass.com/Campea. masterclass.com/Campea. And thank you to our friends at Mint Mobile and MasterClass for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, that down. Let's get on to this, shall we? Daredevil Born Again, coming to Disney Plus, got a lot more enthusiasm in life injected into it as Disney, of course, we've talked a lot about over the last month or so, decided to change course and actually make this Daredevil the same Daredevil as the one from Netflix. And this will kind of now be a continuation of that Netflix series, which was not their plan originally, but that's what they're doing now. And so we've heard ever since then, they're now bringing over the Bullseye actor. They're bringing back Karen and Foggy. A couple of other castings have been announced already as well. People getting kind of hyped about it. But one of the things that we have not seen, because we've seen a bunch of behind the scenes pictures coming out. You know, the other day we talked about the first picture that came out of Foggy, Karen, and Matt together for the first time. That was kind of cool seeing their law firm name in there. We've seen some pictures of Kingpin and Matt talk and stuff like that. But one of the things we have not seen is a picture of the new outfit, which is interesting because Before they scrapped the show, the Daredevil Born Again show that they had been working on, then scrapped everything, reports are coming out that we weren't even going to see Matt in the Daredevil costume for like the first 5 episodes or something like that. It's like, the show is called Daredevil, right? At any rate, but now we've gotten our first look at the new costume. This comes to us from the director at the following. The new costume Charlie Cox will wear for his portrayal of Daredevil in Marvel Studios' Daredevil Born Again has been spotted on set during filming in the streets of New York City. The top and pants are almost entirely red with not too much black lining, and it appears to be a slightly more saturated color than what was seen in Cox's suit from his cameo appearance in 2024's Echo. And if you take me down out of this shot, you can get a better look at the thing here. That is, I mean, I think that they're right. This is a more saturated color of the suit than what we have seen before previously. And I think we've got a side-by-side shot of what the original Netflix series suit looked like. We see that on the left with the back of the new suit. And you can already see a number of the differences, right? The deeper saturation, the black piping is different. The helmet's got some details that are different, especially if you look around the bottom of the neck. You see in the new shot on the right, there's a big black plate kind of, I'm sure there's a leather going across. The piping is shaped differently. There's a little bit more texture to the costume itself. Now, where this really stands in stark contradiction is the more recent new look at Daredevil we had, which was, of course, from She-Hulk. Because, you know, one of the big storylines in She-Hulk was that Matt was there to get his new costume. Why he went out to LA to get a new costume, I'm not sure. Now, a lot of people got very excited by the outfit because that's directly like from the comic pages, that particular outfit. And a lot of people kind of dug the outfit and stuff like that. By the way, Matt in She-Hulk, I still contend is one of the few redeemable things about that show. And as much as I hated the show, I will still say I thought the chemistry between Matt and Jen was adorable. And I still say that the walk of shame thing at the end is one of the best things I've seen on TV, even though the show was terrible. There were a few redeeming things about it, and usually Matt was kind of at the core of it. Now, look, at the end of the day, how the costume looks has absolutely, let me pull up my math here. Yes, 0. The look of the suit has absolutely 0 impact on how good the show is, right? It just simply does. I mean, I would prefer to have a better looking suit than a not better looking suit, but it really will have no impact on how good the story is, how good the action is, how good the show works. I always go back to the one CW show, Black Lightning. That is the worst comic book superhero costume ever in the history of comic book movie or TV stuff ever in history. That was the dumbest, stupidest looking costume, but the show was great. It was a really fun show, and I enjoyed it a lot, despite the fact that the costume was absolutely trash. But I kind of dig, and I'm glad they went back to the red instead of the yellow, because even though I thought the yellow suit looked kind of cool, for a guy that's supposed to be creeping around in the night, it's an awfully loud outfit.
It doesn't matter what color, John. Can you go back to that picture right here?
We got it.
He looks like he put on a little weight right there, huh? These reshoots, he was relaxing. There's a little...
You think so?
Yeah, man. He just looks like a dough devil.
Dough devil?
Dough devil eat again.
Dough devil eat again.
Look at her. No. I'm not one to say because look at me, but I mean, I got to call it out.
Like there's no judgment, but he sees what he sees.
What happened was they finished filming, right? And Charlie Cox probably was relaxing. He doesn't have to be in shape anymore. Yeah. And then they're like, no, we got to reshoot this. He's like, I'm not ready. And there's a little bit of he got a little bit of beer belly right there.
I don't know.
Especially in the shot I'm looking at from right here. See
no, I think he looks in good shape. Dough devil eating.
Well, from the Netflix one. The suit is more loose, is what I'm saying.
It looked to me like he's bulked up.
The suit is more loose.
I mean, it's not like Grand Admiral Pie, right?
Oh yeah.
Like when Grand Admiral Thrawn showed up in Ahsoka, it's like
Grand Admiral Pie.
I don't
blueberry
recall.
pie.
We're creating a Mount Rushmore.
I don't recall Grand Admiral Thrawn being so squishy.
Oh, why is he so blue? He eats a lot of blueberry pie.
He needs a place where to fold his arms, to rest on top.
She's like, that's better. I finally achieved it. An arm wrestling place.
I don't see it on Charlie Cox,
You have to
though.
rip it off. It's on there so long. We have no reason to talk, but I'm gonna call it. He does put a little. He put a little bit of weight there, but that could have just been.
I think he put muscle on.
Yeah.
You know where he can? Do you still have that back side by side shot there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think that will give us a good look because you can't hide it. You can't hide it from the back.
In that shot, we're looking at the original.
Yeah, I think he's bulked up. I don't think he's put on weight.
You know what?
But
maybe-
also that I think that's a stuntman that you were seeing in that one shot.
Oh yeah, this one right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah, but
Because that didn't look like his face. It looked like the stuntman.
yeah, you're right.
Daredevil. Anyway, I like the look of the outfit. Again, it doesn't speak at all to whether or not the show is going to be good.
Right.
But I think I like that they went back to the red. I like the look of it. I like the richer red in it too. So we'll see how that all kind of works out. Anyway, question is for you guys. What do you think about the look of the new costume? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right. With that all down, guys, let's move on to this, shall we?
If we must.
Madam Web is coming. It is now officially 8 days away. 1 week from tomorrow. A cinematic event of a lifetime happens as Madam Web opens up in theaters. Now, despite some initial interest that I mean, look, I was like everybody else. When they announced Madam Web, I was like, who? I mean, why? Why are you doing a Madam Web? Who's asking for a Madam Web movie? But all right, yeah, try something different. Okay, that's fine. So, I love Venom, so give it a shot, whatever. And then the premise got announced a long time ago. And the premise, to me, kind of changed my tune on it. The premise came out and I was like, this kind of sounds interesting. It's a little bit of Terminator with a little bit of Spider-Man, with a little bit of, something else in there. I thought, what? This premise could be really good. I really do like Dakota Johnson. I think she's a terrific actress. So I was like, all right, yeah, I'm on board. Let's see how this turns out. And then the first trailer came out. And the first trailer was concerning because not that a trailer has ever been a good indicator about whether a movie's going to be good or not, but the trailer was concerning in the fact that all the lines said in the trailer was some of the most wooden spoken lines that I've heard in a long time. He was with my mother, who was researching spiders in the jungle. Okay. It became a little bit concerning. Then, we were reminded of the fact that this is a movie that's written by Matt Sazma and Burke Sharpless, who, in case we forgot, wrote such hit movies as Morbius and Gods of Egypt and The Last Witch Hunter and Dracula Untold. To which we all went, how do these people still have work? How do they still have jobs? And now, granted, they also wrote Lost in Space, which is pretty good. I didn't think it was great, but I thought the Netflix Lost in Space series was pretty good, so I'll give them that. Well, now, forget it. Because Sony has just told the world that they don't believe in this movie. And you know what I always say? Hey, studio, if you don't believe in your movie, why should I? This comes us from the director who wrote the following. The review embargo for Sony Pictures' upcoming Madam Web will lift at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, February 13th. For those of you keeping score, that's the day before the movie comes out. This means the first reviews of the movie will only be released as early as the day before the movie's theatrical debut on Wednesday, February 14th. Though not necessarily the case, an embargo lift so close to a movie's release can indicate a lack of confidence. Well, I've been telling you guys that for almost a decade. A confidence in a project from studios, possibly since there's less time for negative reviews to circulate before the public release. Okay, look. This to me is the death nail. This to me is it. This is Sony themselves saying, we have no faith in this movie. Listen, we are still sitting, we are 1 week away from the movie. There's just only been one official trailer. Been a couple of TV spots that have been like remixes of the trailer and everything. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, you got 3 major trailers will come out for film. They've only sat on one. That basically tells me they couldn't find anything in the movie to even make it look good. Because they tried.
When is the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl is
next weekend?
This coming week, yeah.
Oh, this coming weekend?
Yeah.
Do you think they'll drop one more trailer?
Yeah, like 2 days. Maybe.
Spend all that money? Oh, no way.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
Sony, I mean, that's the thing. Sony clearly has zero belief in this film.
All right, you're right.
And listen, over the years, like I said, I've been trying to tell people for like a decade, when this happens, it is a massive red flag. And almost every time with every movie that's happened with, I inevitably hear from a lot of fans, no, John, you just don't understand. They're trying to keep the secrets. They're trying to keep the surprises hidden. That's why they hold the review embargo. And while that has been true once or twice in history,
Secrets out.
99% of the time, it's like, no, turns out they just didn't want the reviews to get out because the movie's bad.
Did they do that for No Way Home? Do we remember if the reviews?
The first reactions for No Way Home came out like a good week before or more before that movie came out.
You know, there's certain types of movies where you see the trailer and you're like, I want to go see how horrible this is. Like, does that sound weird? Like to want to go see a movie knowing it's horrible just to see how horrible it is? Like, Dude, Where's My Car? I knew that movie's going to be horrible. I went to the theaters and watched it, and it was. So it's like this one I want to go see, but for all the wrong reasons. You know what I mean?
It's like wanting to go watch a car crash.
Yeah. But you know what? It's Spider-Man. It revolves around that universe. I'm going to see it because I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man's in my top.
Well, listen, I'm going to go see it too. I'm still going to go see it. Look, when it comes to the Sonyverse, here's the thing. Obviously, I still contend 100% that Sony alone has made the 2 best Spider-Man movies ever. With Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 and, let me rephrase. They've made the 3 best Spider-Man movies ever. They made Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2 and then the animated Into the Spider-Verse and the animated Across the Spider-Verse. No Marvel Spider-Man movie has been as good as those 3. Sony has exclusively made the best Spider-Man movies. That being said, while I really liked Venom a lot, I had a ball with that movie. And I enjoyed the second one. It was a step down, but I enjoyed. Morbius was the type of bad that if you were watching a TV show about movie actors and one of them just made a real stinker, it would have been Morbius. Like, it was terrible and it was bad. And I have to wonder at this point, because there's a lot of things Sony does that I really like. I'm a Sony fan. I am. But I have to ask the question, what are you doing? Because you went into this movie. First of all, you decided to make a Madam Web movie. Okay. Hopefully you got some killer idea, whatever. But you went into this movie knowing that you hired the writers of Morbius, which sucked, and it was your movie, the writers of Gods of Egypt, the writers of the and I love me Vin Diesel, but Vin Diesel's The Last Witch Hunter, which was terrible.
Oh, I forgot.
And Dracula Untold.
Maybe they're tax loss harvesting.
Well, you remember the Nathan Lane, The Producers?
Yeah.
Where these 2 guys purposefully try to make a musical that completely bombs.
Right.
Is this Sony intentionally trying to make a bomb? Like, you got to know going into it, you hire possibly the worst writers you possibly could hire for a comic book film with the track record they have. Then you put out a real wooden trailer. Then you don't put out any more trailers. And then you're holding the review embargo until the day before the movie comes out. What are you doing? I have to ask Sony, what's your plan? Because I want to have optimism for Kraven the Hunter. I want to have optimism for Venom 3. I want to have optimism for whatever else they've got coming. I want to have optimism. But I'm sitting here looking at this, and to put it into sports terminology, it's like A basketball team goes out and recruits their 5 starters who all retired in the 90s, and they don't even give them a real basketball court to play on. Like, I have to look at Sony right now and say, are you even trying? Now, I will usually fire back at my other fellow fans who will say, oh, this studio isn't even trying. And I'm like, listen, everybody's always trying to do their best, but it's hard to make a good movie, right? It's almost impossible to make a good movie. Everybody starts out making a movie thinking you're already writing your Oscar acceptance speech in your head. Okay, everybody does. And so I'll often fire back. But in this case, I have to look at this and I have to legitimately ask the executives of Sony, are you even trying? What's the plan here? Because this is a joke. This is I haven't even seen the movie yet. But it's become clear to me Sony doesn't like it. They're not putting any money behind it. They're not putting any marketing into it. They're not even letting the reviews come out. And they're hiring the cheapest bottom of the barrel writers they possibly can. What's the plan? Mm-hmm. I can look at DC, right? And even though the DCEU had its struggles, they swung for the fences, right? They may have tripped, they may have fallen on their faces, but they always tried. Even when they made something bad, they were trying. Some people don't like Flash. That's fine. I thought Flash was an ambitious, swinging for the fences kind of movie. I didn't like The Birds of Prey and the Fabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn. But you know what? I can look at that movie, and even though I don't like it, I can say, they really were going for it. Like, they were trying, right? Even in Marvel's bad movies, like I look at Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, right? I can look at that movie, and I can say, man, there's so much wrong with this movie. But you could see they were swinging for it. I mean, they were trying. Mm-hmm. I am looking right now at Sony outside of their animated stuff because they're killing it with Spider-Verse. They're absolutely killing it with their Spider-Verse stuff. 100% they are. But outside of Tom Hardy, what are you doing? I don't even see you trying. Yeah. And if you say you're trying, you're fucking incompetent. Then that's just the bottom line. You're fucking incompetent. And now I've gone from a place of being maybe naively, hopefully optimistic about Kraven the Hunter and whatever else they've got coming down. El Muerto, if that actually even I guarantee you that movie's not going to happen. And I've gone from that place to a place of, are you just doing this for a tax write-off? Like, what's happening here?
I believe, first of all, Sony is just going through the Spider-Man library and just seeing all the characters and just putting out movies for all of them. But it's all to the point of, I've always said since Morbius that it looks like Sony wants to get that Avengers Endgame where they get all the characters together.
That's never going to happen.
And they're concentrating on that and not doing what Marvel did and concentrate on the solo movies, making them quality so people care about that last movie where it all comes together.
Or it
feels like they're rushing these.
Or it's like, well, we own the rights to the Spider-Verse. Let's milk this. You know, let's take advantage of this. We have a mandate to use these characters that we own because we're not selling it back to Marvel. And the mandate is just get these films out and do it. And it's just
I would even understand that. But if you want to just milk it, you're going to get a lot more milk if you make good movies.
Yep.
You're going to make more money if you make good movies. And listen, Marvel started off with Iron Man just building towards the Avengers, but they put the time, care, and attention. They went out and got Jon Favreau. They went out and got an Academy Award nominated actor who was on his way back up with Robert Downey Jr. They put a lot of care and attention into that movie. And even though they were just they ended it with Nick Fury, we're doing the Avengers Initiative. I mean, they were clearly just trying to build up to the Avengers, but they put love, care, and attention and detail into the individual movies. I sit back now and I look at this now, and I try to be optimistic. Like when we first realized that it was the guys who wrote Gods of Egypt, Last Witch Hunter, Dracula Untold, and Morbius, I try to be optimistic about, okay, well, maybe this time they came up with a killer thing. Sony clearly doesn't think so. So now I'm sitting back and looking, you went out and got the absolute bottom of the barrel writers that you could, that have already failed spectacularly in your own cinematic universe with Morbius. We've seen nothing to suggest that we're going to get anything different. And I feel bad. Like, I'm sure the guys who wrote this stuff, like, I'm sure Matt and his writing partner, I'm sure they're probably really nice guys, and I feel bad trashing on somebody's work. But the reality is, if you're Sony and you're coming out of this, okay, Best meals come from the best ingredients. What are we going to start with? Let's start with the guys who wrote Morbius. You're fucking not trying. You're not trying. You are not trying to put out the best product that you can. So if you're just saying it's a money grab, you're going to get a fuck lot more money if you put more care into it. If you want to build up to your own Avengers, fine. Marvel did that too, but you're going to get there if you make good individual movies, and you don't make good individual movies if you start with the building blocks of bottom of the barrel. So like what are we doing?
Venom was a great starting point.
It was. It could have been.
That was like their Iron Man right there, and they had it right there. Just it seems like they're not going to get any more trust from the audience if they keep releasing these things. If Kraven is bad, it's going to be like, who cares about this last thing?
And at this point, now that I've seen Sony's even given up on this Madam Web movie, I've lost my hope in Kraven. And I have been naively, optimistically hopeful for Kraven. Have I not?
Yeah.
Have I not been hopeful for Kraven?
It's been a little much.
I mean, some people think too much.
A little,
But that's gone now.
a little extra right there.
That's gone. That naive optimism is now gone. I have no reason to believe in any of this shit because clearly Sony doesn't believe in it. And they're not even trying. DC tried.
Yep.
Love or hate Marvel, they tried.
Well, they put the budget in.
These guys aren't even trying.
So they put a character that no one cared about,
With writers nobody cared about.
and in a movie that's going to end up being terrible. You're destroying all the properties you have.
You are here's the problem that some studios don't seem to grasp. You're not only wrecking this movie, you are wrecking the potential for any movies you try to do later in this universe.
Exactly.
Right? People do not look at these films anymore as isolated events. You put out a great movie, you get people excited about what you have next. Mm-hmm. You put out a piece of garbage, you make people lose faith in what you have coming out next. Yeah. It's all connected. And again, for a studio that does a lot right in other areas of their business, what they're doing here with Madam Web, seriously, this movie right now is proving what David Zaslav did was right when he killed the Batgirl movie. That's exactly what Sony just should have done with this Madam. The moment they realized that this movie was crap, because clearly they think it's crap because they're not lifting the review embargo to the day before. The moment Sony realized this movie was crap, they simply should have axed it. Because they might be saving their future movies.
Right. And the climate is kind of changing. It's a scary time to have a franchise right now because one bad movie, the audience could turn their back on you right away.
Oh, but they have.
Before, remember Iron Man 2 wasn't as good as Iron Man 1, whatever. People still want to go see Iron Man 3. It feels like that wouldn't happen right now. People would completely ditch Iron Man 3.
Even Iron Man 2 was no Morbius.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
As bad as Thor 2 was or whatever, none of them were Morbius.
The fact that I can go back and watch Thor 2 and be like, oh, you know what? This is actually better than I remember. Like there's things that it involves the what do you call it? Infinity Saga a little more than I realized the first time I saw it. But you're not going to get that from Morbius.
And let's talk about Morbius for a second. Even Morbius, right? Every studio will put out a movie that falls on its face, right? Every studio does. It happens. Okay, so you lick your wounds, you learn your lessons, and you move forward. Sony moved forward by just bringing back the same writers who wrote that piece of garbage. I'm sitting here trying to let that sink in. I wish I was a fly on the wall in the executive offices of Sony when they were discussing, hey, okay, got an idea. Okay, let's do Madam Web. Actually, that's a really obscure character. That could be kind of cool. Worked for Marvel when they pulled the Guardians of the Galaxy out. Maybe that would be kind of cool. Okay, yeah, but listen, here's what I got, Bob. You know our Morbius movie? Oh, don't remind me, dude. We just took a bath on that. We got hammered. Oh, yeah, I know. But what about bringing back the writers from that to do this next one? I want to hear that conversation. How did that unfold?
They're free.
Do the writers have pictures of the president sleeping with the CEO's wife? Is that how this happened?
They're free.
I don't know.
Yeah, they might be free.
I mean, they're just free.
Discounted.
We'll do it for the parking spaces and lunch.
Oh, man.
I don't know.
No.
It's at any rate.
Well, we're still going to see it. We'll have our review.
Listen, I'm still going to go see it. But I'm just saying, like, and you might be asking yourself, like, John, why are you so adamant about this when you haven't seen the movie yet? Sony's seen it, and they just told me they didn't like it. by not lifting the review embargo until the day
Let me see
before.
how long this movie is too.
It's long and
Because
probably long enough.
Yeah.
Probably, but you don't even have the confidence to put out a second trailer.
No.
You're like, you know what? Let's just cut bait.
I've been wanting to see it because I want to know what that Spider-Man suited Spider-Man is all about. What that thing is doing in the trailer, and I have no.
Listen,
sense.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. I'm sure none of you are surprised by this, but what do you think about Sony not letting people even reveal their reviews of this movie until 24 hours before the movie even comes out? You clearly know how I feel about it. What do you guys think? Whatever your thoughts are, jump into the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's get on to the most important part of the show, which is you. You got some thoughts, theories, opinions, questions, a point of view on anything we've talked about here. Go ahead and use the super chat feature and fire that in. Now, before we get to those, we're going to take another quick second and thank another sponsor of today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast, our friends at DraftKings. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this video, DraftKings. DraftKings, the leader in fantasy sports, just dropped a brand new app, Pick 6. Pick 6 is the newest way for you to get in on the fantasy football action with DraftKings. New customers can make their first NFL picks and get up to $100 in Pick 6 credits if those picks lose. All you got to do is pick between 2 and 6 NFL players and choose if they're going to have more or less of that stat. For example, will a player have more or less than 100 rushing yards, or will a player have more or less than 1 touchdown? Track your lineup and compete against others for a shot at huge cash prizes. So download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and sign up with the code Campea. New customers can get up to $100 back in Pick 6 credits if your first football pick set loses. That's code Campea only on DraftKings Pick 6. One offer per new customer. First qualifying pick set winnings less entry fees must generate negative number. Max reward up to $100 equal to amount of negative number. Issued in non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits. Valid for Pick 6 use only. Expire after 1 year. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 18 plus in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Valid only in states where DraftKings Pick 6 operates. Pick 6 not available in all states, including but not limited to Connecticut and New York. For up-to-date list of states, please visit dkng.co/pick6states. Void where prohibited. See terms and pick6.draftkings.com. And thank you to our friends at DraftKings for sponsoring today's episode of the John Campea Show podcast. All right, guys, with that down, let's get over to your questions here, shall we? Jonathan, what do we got up first?
We got Sanchez guy. Hey, John, I want to say I'm sorry for asking you about Orion and the Dark during open mic yesterday. I didn't know you haven't heard of this movie until you told me. Again, I'm sorry.
No need to apologize. I mean, look, one of the cool things, this has been ever since, I was doing the movie blog, one of the cool things is when you call in or write in or whatever, a recommendation like that, is not only now have you put that on my radar, but I've had many viewers and readers over the years write in to tell me, hey, somebody wrote into your show to talk about this show. I'd never heard of it, and I went to check it out, and it's really great. Like, don't apologize for asking a question about something I hadn't seen or heard of, because now you've not only put it on my radar, you put it on the radar of everybody else who was watching the show at the time, right? And you may have just introduced a number of people to a show that they're going to love now. So no need to apologize at all. That's one of the coolest things about the format is that not only are you hearing about stuff from me, but often our viewers will hear about content they've maybe never heard of from another one of our viewers. So I think that's great. So no need to apologize. All right. What's next?
Dr. Stinky says, hey, John and crew, Ray, we are getting a TMNT collab on Fortnite. Shredder is going to be a skin. I'm a Fortnite guy, so I'm hyped. Keep it filthy.
So I was at the neighbor's house. He plays a lot of Fortnite, my neighbor, and he showed me the skins of the Ninja Turtles, and I love the way they did Mikey and I think it's Leonardo that they've released when I saw it. But the style, it was like a combination of the Eastman with the blank eyes.
Right. I like that.
But with the newer sort of, I just love the way Fortnite does all their characters, like all the extra characters that they have, whether it's Thanos or Optimus Prime. It's such great looks.
All right, what's next?
Okay, we got Dr. Stinky again. No, Sanchez guy. But I will ask you this. How would you feel if you or your wife, your crew went on a trip to London, England, and what would you do over there?
My wife actually just got back from a trip to London.
I would die to go visit that area.
My wife, Anne, and her friend Corey are huge Royals fans. Not the Kansas City Royals, I mean the Royals. And so just recently, her and Corey, and for those of you who watch AEW Wrestling, Nigel McGuinness, who is Corey's boyfriend, the three of them went over to London. I was working. And Anne's visited London a couple times. She loves it over there. I've always wanted to go to
me
London
too.
because ever since the movie blog days, we have an big number of people who watch our show from London and England. And I've always wanted to go. I've just never had the opportunity to go, but it'd be really cool. I'd want to go see Wembley.
That's not even me.
No.
Mine is just fish and chips. I want
Eat some legit
I
fish
want
and chips.
that legit fish and chips. I want to go to Germany just to get that legit street Belgian waffle.
Well, now I want to go to Wales and go to Wrexham. I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go visit the Wrexham field there. That'd be kind of cool too.
Oh, fish and chips.
All right, what's next?
Dr. Stinky says also, I finished my top 5 of 23. It's 100%. 1 Oppenheimer, 2 Poor Things, 3 Air. Godzilla is number 4. That's -1. The Iron Claw is number 5.
Wow.
Bring on the
Iron
filthy.
Claw.
You know, it's funny. We talked about this before, but we get around to the end of every year, and then I'm shocked about this has been a wickedly good year for movies.
Exactly.
And so as I was putting down like a list of all my favorite movies, I'm like, holy crap, there were a lot of great movies that came out this year. And I love your list, man.
And that's why I made it a point of saying, oh, it's only January. I made a mistake. It's February. But it's just the beginning of the year. And I remember we had John Wick 4 like at the beginning of the year. And it just went a snowball of movie after movie.
Yeah,
after
we
movie
had a
after
lot of really we had some dry spells in 2023, but overall it was a really, really good year for movies. Not a great year for comic book movies, but a great year for movies nonetheless. All right, what's next?
Richard Cutts says, I just checked the Thursday 6 p.m. showing at my local IMAX. 0 seats are reserved.
Well, then that means it's time for us to do our Madam Web Ticket Watch.
Ticket Watch.
All right, let's bring it up here. I got the AMC Theaters page loaded up. And the IMAX screening, we won't look at 2:30 because that's people are still at work. But let's look at the 5:30. The first, people be off work.
Man, I hope the good seats are still there.
Let's see. Wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 seats.
Nice.
Movie's 1 week away.
You might as well make that reservation right now.
Let's check the prime time, like 7:30.
7:30.
7:30 p.m.
Let's check it
AMC
out.
Laser. All right. Let's check it out. What?
Oh, okay.
Two.
That's 2 people.
2 seats.
Yeah.
2 people
They're
have
gonna be
gotten
making
tickets
out.
for it. Let's
They're
take
gonna
the
be making out.
8:30
Oddly
IMAX
enough, they
screening.
bought the popcorn bucket for Dune 2.
Yeah.
Did you see Saturday Night Live did a sketch about the Dune?
Did they?
No
popcorn
way.
bu- Oh, yeah, they did.
Oh, thank you. Someone had to.
Okay. The 8:30 IMAX screening in the best seats in IMAX is right down the middle there. We probably got about 20 seats there.
Oh, yeah.
2, 4,
totally.
6, 8, 10, 12,
Cha-ching.
14, 16, 18, 20. Maybe about 28 seats.
Yeah.
So, I mean, still a lot of empty seats,
What
but
time is that one?
that's 8:30.
Okay, so people want to, get that movie in before they go on their Valentine night.
Well, it's bad news. It sounds like it's going to kill the mood. Like, sorry, I'm not in the mood now. Damn it. Damn you, Dakota Johnson.
Or you pass the time.
Or yeah, pass the time in the theater. All right. What's next?
We got the Richard who says, do you have a favorite memory of Gremlins? It's a major inspiration for my art. Oh, that's cool. Plus, it was a factor for cinema to create the PG-13.
For whatever reason, when I think about the original Gremlins, it's not Stripe or Mogwai or whatever I think about. There's a really wonderful, powerful scene in the movie when the girl in the film explains why she doesn't like Christmas. And it's a moving story. And like, I don't know why, but ever since I saw that's the scene that for me always has stuck with me. And that I always think of when I think of Gremlins, the first thing I think about, and yeah, guys in live chat, yes, Phoebe Cates. And it's a powerful scene. And she executes it perfectly and it had emotional impact. And that's the scene that I think about.
The minute Gizmo got wet ruined the movie for me. I didn't like it afterwards. It was just a horror film.
That was like after the first 20.
Yeah, I know, but it was so cute. I was like, oh, I
Well, you
love
like the
this
first
character.
20.
And then it was just done. I hated it.
All right, what's next?
All right. Robert McCarthy says, are the Sony the real winners of the streaming wars? Without a streaming service, they can license all their content, even if their films are bombs.
Well, I mean, listen, we talked about this last year, that Sony, their approach is brilliant. In the streaming wars, Sony decided we're not going to participate in the streaming wars. We're going to be the arms dealer. We're just going to make content that these suckers pay us for. You know, we'll do the Madam Web run, but and guess what? Regardless of how bad this movie ends up being, and Sony apparently thinks it's pretty bad, one of these streamers, a couple of these streamers are going to get involved in a little bit of a bidding war to get the rights to stream it. And listen, on that level, that's why I said I'm actually a fan of Sony as a whole. On a macro level, I'm really a fan of the way they do business and the way they run the studio and all that kind of stuff. On the micro level, like how they're handling this live action Spider-Verse stuff is questionable at best. But their decision to stay out of the arms race and instead be the arms dealer, I think was brilliant. And I think more studios are going to adopt that philosophy. All right, what's next?
AL says, what's your favorite so bad it's good flick? Mine are The Room and Cat in the Hat. They are the best comedies of all time, intentional or not.
Probably Vanilla Ice's Cool as Ice.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That is like the worst movie in history, and I could watch it every year for the rest of my life. It is so freaking unintentionally hilarious. If you guys have never seen the Vanilla Ice classic Cool as Ice with the dad from Family Ties is in it as well, it is an experience. I always tell people, get a couple of buddies together, have a couple of adult beverages, and then sit down and uninterruptedly
Come on, that hat is fire, baby.
watch Vanilla Ice Cool as Ice. The immortal words, yip, yip, she likes me, will never leave your brain.
Yeah, that's still used today too.
Drop that zero and get with the hero.
Yep, that still works today too.
It still works today, gentlemen.
Mine was Employee of the Month, Dane Cooks. Employee of the Month. I love that movie. No one could outfight anyone.
What was the line?
Huh?
What was the line in it?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, I thought you said that was from that movie. Okay, so
No, Employee of the Month is mine.
All
My
right.
pick.
all right, what's next?
All right. Bubba Yaga. Congrats to the Madam Web crew for doing what most can't, getting a movie made. Not expecting a good movie, but hopefully it'll give some laughs.
Listen, here's the good news. Here's the good news. My expectations are now so low
Yeah.
that I am bound to walk out going, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Right? That's the thing. My expectations are so rock bottom right now that I am bound to walk out of the theater going, it's not as bad as I thought it would be.
Well, do you think it could get Expendables 4-ish?
Like
or
that
you-
I just have to get up and walk out?
I'm scared of that. I want it to be at least horrible where we're like Meg 2. We stayed because we were still entertained a little bit. You know what I mean?
Well, that's the thing, though. Like, people say, "Oh, well, it's just supposed to be a dumb fun." But if it's just dumb and not fun, and then
Well,
it's
that's
not,
what
you
Expendables
walk
4
out.
did. It was just dumb.
Yeah. I mean, look, you can do dumb fun that's good and enjoyable and entertaining, and you can do dumb fun that just sucks.
Yeah.
Right? And let's see which one this is. All right. What's next?
I just looked at another image of Cool as Ice. All right.
You bring it up when you have a chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
VBE Torres, aka Rocket, says to save the MCU, Marvel Studios should just call John to make him a big cameo in Captain America 4 or Hulk 2.
Well, I've already confirmed I am the star of the MCU.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I think my character's actions in the Hulk movie forever changed the direction of the MCU. Yeah. Look at that jacket. He even says yip yip on the
That
jacket.
style would be fly right now. That style right there would be fly right now.
My God, guys, please watch Vanilla Ice, Cool as Ice.
No, don't.
What were we even talking about?
You're talking about you being the star. You're retired.
Oh, that's right.
You're retired. It's going to take a lot of big bucks to get you back up.
Yep. I came back from the snap and then founded Google. That's
They
what my
bring
character
back
did.
Steve Rogers, Tony Stark. They need to bring back Soldier 3.
All
you
right,
go.
what's next?
D Wild, Tinfoil Hat Theory. There's been next to no marketing on Madam Web because they saved the entire budget for Super Bowl, which could fool unknowing audiences. Yeah, I don't think so.
There's no way Sony's spending a dime on that. But look, I'll tell you what, though. Wouldn't it be wild if, because trailers on the Super Bowls, they don't play the whole trailers. They play a 30-second spot and then say, full trailer online now. right? Because they're spending like $25 million
Where
for
it's
30
free.
seconds. Imagine if Sony comes out, says, nah, we booked a 2-minute spot on Super Bowl to
Worldwide.
run
Worldwide.
the Will Change Your Life Madam Web trailer.
Worldwide.
And we'll like just the hierarchy of power in the Spider-Verse has changed.
Big screen at the game.
That's right.
They stopped the halftime show just to show this trailer.
Preach it.
What's so sad about this is I'm probably going to like this movie.
Again,
I'm going to be honest with you guys.
expectations are so
I'm
low.
probably going to
Why
like
not?
this movie.
All right, what's next?
Jake Clark says, hope Adam Scott and Emma Roberts are playing Harry Osborn and Felicia Hardy, Black Cat.
Actually, from what I understand, and the information I have could be wrong, from what I understand, Adam Scott is playing Peter Parker's dad. I could be wrong. That could be wrong information I have. But my understanding is that he's supposed to be playing Peter Parker's dad.
Ben? Oh, no, not
Not Uncle
Okay.
Ben.
Yeah,
He's
right.
supposed to be playing, what's his dad's first name? Something Parker.
Parker.
That's right.
P. Parker.
He's
Parker,
playing
Parker.
Parker. So, I mean, maybe he is, maybe he isn't, whatever. There have also been rumors that he was going to play Uncle Ben at the same time. So I don't know, but we'll see. That was part of the thing that started getting me really intrigued.
Yeah,
a
me
little
too.
bit of a Terminator kind of storyline, right?
Right.
Where somebody was like coming up to make sure that Peter Parker is never born, or I don't know.
Because they do have a story in the comics like that, right?
Yeah. I don't actually have any solid information about who or what anybody's playing in it, but anyway, we'll find out. All right, what's next? Richard Parker. That's the name of the dad. Richard Parker. One of our
Parker,
viewers,
Parker.
who was it? Kyla, 36, said
Parker,
Richard Parker.
Parker.
Yes.
Richard Parker.
Richard Parker.
Kyle Schneider says, Blumhouse's movie Imaginary is from the same writer and director of Truth or Dare and Fantasy Island. So I asked Blumhouse, are you even trying?
I never did watch the Fantasy Island one.
Me either.
Which one was Truth or Dare?
That's the one I'm trying to think about right now. Let me see.
I can't.
I do remember the trailer, I believe, but I don't think anyone went to go see it.
Now, I got to say, though, I think Imaginary with the teddy bear thing, Imaginary looks pretty, not to be confused with the John Krasinski.
Oh.
By the way, did you see John Krasinski's Instagram?
No, what
He changed
To
his
Randall
profile
Park?
picture to Randall Park. Randall
That's
Park is
so
his
funny. That's great.
anyway. So not to be confused with Imaginary Friends, if that is a John Krasinski movie. This I gotta tell you, this movie looks kind of creepy, and I'm kind of looking forward to this one myself.
Lucy Hale was the star of Truth or Dare. Came out 2018.
Yeah.
I
remember when it came out, but
I know the title, but I can't even picture anything in my head about it. All right, what's next?
all right. Android 118 says, why so mad about Madam Web? A popcorn film, high expectations. Well, I mean, high expectations, but it needs to be entertaining.
Yeah, let me address this for a second here. I absolutely loathe this idea that, oh, this movie's supposed to be bad.
Yeah.
No. That's not a valid point of view for a movie, right? You can have look, Deadpool, right? Deadpool is not Shakespeare. Deadpool is not highbrow. Deadpool is silly, fun, laughs with some heart and whatever, right?
Yep.
But there's a difference between doing it right and doing it wrong. You are still supposed to make a movie that's entertaining. You are still supposed to make a movie that gives us an experience, other than rolling our eyes and covering our faces with our hands wondering about our life choices. You know? This whole idea about, oh yeah, it sucks, but you know, it wasn't supposed to be. No. That's not an excuse. You can go for lighthearted, entertaining, not highbrow. You can do that and still make it good. Crap is crap.
Right.
Okay? Let's not make excuses for crap. Crap is crap. Whatever kind of semantics we try to build around it, crap is crap. And if you want to go for something light and fun, do it. We can all list off about 15 movies that did that and did it excellent. Or you can do it and it turns out to be a bag of garbage. So, yeah, I go into a movie when I'm paying my money, taking time out of my day to go to see a movie that a big corporate studio put in millions of dollars for, with professionals who make this thing and put in years of their lives to make. Yeah, call me crazy. I go in expecting it to at least be good.
It's
I don't think it's unfair. I don't think that's crazy.
No.
It's like
You
going
want it
to
to
a
be
new
fun.
restaurant. It's like going to a new restaurant. If you try something, it has to at least be a little decent, right? For you to want to go back and want to try the other things. I think.
Yeah, here's a good example. Last night, Ann, me, Tommy, Ray, we went to this ramen place, right? Now, I have been to ramen places that are like $75 a bowl.
Jesus.
Like once or twice. It wasn't my choice to go to those places, but actually the first time we were being treated, so that's fine, right? Now, this place was like $10 a bowl. I'm not going in there expecting this ramen to be as good as that ramen, but I still want to eat it and enjoy it. I want to say, hey, this is good. You know, it's not a $75 bowl of ramen, but it's good. And you know what? It was good, and I enjoyed it. I don't go into Deadpool. I don't go into Joyride expecting what's the big one best film? The Woody Allen comedy.
Oh, yeah.
One best picture against Star Wars.
Yep.
Oh shoot.
Why am I freezing the name of anyway? I don't go into that expecting it to be that, and it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
But your humor, Annie Hall, Jake Clark in the live chat, good on you, man. Annie Hall. I don't go into it expecting Annie Hall or Tootsie, but I still go into it. It's a low budget film. Make me laugh.
Mm-hmm.
And they made me laugh. So don't give me this excuse. Well, you know, it wasn't supposed to be shit. I get that, but let's stop making excuses. Shit is shit. All right, what's next?
We got Uber Scoober. I almost did this, but I had to cancel. Saw Lisa Frankenstein for the AMC Monday Mystery Movie, and it was great. Charming, funny, and fresh. I finally recommend it. Yes. Or I definitely recommend it. By the way, love the show.
Thank you so much, Uber Scoober. You know, the one thing I did not think the trailers to this looked good, but the one thing that's appealing to me is that the main girl is the girl from Supernatural.
You didn't think the trailer was good?
I didn't like the trailer that much.
Oh, it was kind of...
Did you like it?
It was kind of catchy. It was like the whole thing was a little catchy.
I think there was a second trailer, too, I liked even more.
I was intrigued by the story is what I'm saying.
But I'm hearing good things.
Good.
I'm hearing good things. So, like, Ann and I are running out to the movies tonight. We don't have time to go see that tonight, but I'm now thinking, because I've been hearing from people like Uber and a few others, that the movie's actually pretty good. So I think I might go check it out.
It's not that long either, too.
That's how it's raised.
No.
How long is it?
I'm not making
No, it's like an hour and a half. Yeah, it's short. Yeah, they did the
Perfect.
screen unseen for it.
Perfect. All right. What's next?
Michael Brocky says Fast X Rome scene was better than MI7 Bring on the Filthy.
Ooh.
The Rome scene, huh?
The Rome scene versus MI7? Which
No.
scene is he talking about in MI7?
The driving through Italy.
Oh,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, listen, I think you're certifiably crazy for believing that. But that's the beautiful thing about movies, man. The art hits us all in different ways. And if you watching that scene in Fast X had a bigger impact on you and gave you more of an emotional experience, like a thrills and all that kind of stuff, than the one in MI7 did, then that's what it did. Nothing wrong with that. Again, I vehemently disagree, but that doesn't delegitimize your feelings on it at all. So I'm glad you feel that way. I feel very, very different. I thought I didn't think MI7 was perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Not even the best of the not even the top 2 best MI movies. But man, that car chase scene through there when you got Mantis, Palm Clementine chasing them around, and that scene was great. That was the highlight of the movie for me. Was that one? All right, what's next?
Kyle Schneider, first shot of Megalopolis has been released.
Ooh, I know Rob was looking for
Yeah,
that.
I know. Yeah, I didn't know the shot for that's come out. I didn't even know it was that far along. I'll have to keep my eyes open for that.
That's the one with the Godfather director, right? Yeah, how he's
oh, that's right. Yeah.
how he's actually used his own money.
Yeah,
Well, he sold his own wine company.
So yeah, he like leveraged himself a lot for that.
Coppola.
It'll be interesting.
Francis Ford. All right, what's next?
Dr. Stinky says if Deadpool sells used cars, he should be the competitor to Mobius jet skis. That would be funny, but yet again, not everyone watched Loki. Exactly. That's just my nerd brain overcomplicating things.
I still believe, and I have nothing to back this up with. This is just a wild fan theory, okay? Just a wild fan theory. I don't believe that synopsis, and I believe we're going to get 3 or 4 different and completely contradictory synopsises that Marvel starts leaking out. So and if they do, they do. But I don't think we're gonna get to Deadpool 3 and Deadpool's a used car salesman. But again, if they do, I'm sure they got a banger idea for it. But I think we're gonna get 3 or 4 different synopsises coming.
My pick for the best car salesman is the Hummer guy in South Park. The guy who's always trying to sell the Hummers.
Never saw it.
Oh, you don't know who it
No,
is?
I don't know it.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right, what's next?
Matt says hello. Hello. Hey, Campea crew. Now that the DCU is finally over, what were your favorite performances? Mine were Ewan McGregor as Black Mask and Viola Davis as Amanda Waller. His was the best part of that movie.
Yeah,
Ewan
yeah,
McGregor.
yeah. Ewan McGregor was the best part of that movie, no doubt. It's Henry Cavill as Superman, but I'll tell you what, Kevin Costner as Pa Kent. I mean, the best moment in all of the DCEU to me is still, and this speaks to the beautiful direction of the scene, the acting of the scene. It's still one of my favorite moments in any comic book movie at all, but definitely in the DCU. It's in Man of Steel when a young Clark Kent looks at his dad and says, "Can't we just keep pretending that I'm your son?" And Kevin Costner, with just 3 words, gave a performance that has resonated with me and moves me every time I see it. When he wraps his arm around and pulls him tight, and the way he says it with a brokenness in his voice, and he says, "You are my son." It is one of the most beautiful, powerful, moving scenes in any comic book movie I've ever seen. So yeah, I got to say that too. But yeah, Henry Cavill's performance as Superman, as what would this Superman, this golly gee ma'am, let me get your cat out of the tree Superman that we had in the 70s and 80s, and trying to, translate that into what would this individual, what would this man who finds out he's got the power of the gods, and his dad just tells him one day, by the way, you were found in an alien spacecraft. He has no idea about his place in this world, and he's trying to figure out what his place in this world is. I thought Henry's performance of that character, regardless of whether you like the direction they went, his performance of the character they gave him, I thought was great. And yeah, I'm gonna go with that. All right, what's next?
We got Top Gun Manny, who says, if Josh Brolin appears in Deadpool 3, does he play Cable or Thanos?
Maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit of both. All right, what's next?
That's Mark says, so
What
you got, Ray?
Like that?
Well, that's what his name is. That's Mark. So is Poor Things sort of a pretentious reimagining of the 80s horror comedy Frankenhooker? No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so at all.
I don't even think it's pretentious.
No, not in the least. I thought it was a beautiful examination of life.
Mm-hmm.
And Emma is probably going to get her second Academy Award for it. She's kind of turning into maybe the best actress of this generation. And who would have thought of that when we saw her in Rainn Wilson's The Rocker? But she is pretty much solidly turning into the best actress of this generation. And we're talking a packed. We're talking about a generation with Florence Pugh. We're talking about a generation with Anya Taylor-Joy. We're talking about a generation like with some packed with talent. Emma Stone is probably the head of the class in that, and she was great in this.
Who's her biggest person that she's going against Oscars? Who's the one that
this year?
Yeah,
Lily
Lily Gladstone.
Yeah, Lily
I'd
Gladstone,
say
for sure.
Gladstone.
Who I would have thought it would be a neck and neck race until she didn't even get a nomination at the BAFTA. And I'm thinking it's probably going to be Emma Stone. But hey, who knows? We could get a surprise.
And she didn't win the SAG either, right? Or did the SAG happen yet?
She got nominated for SAG.
SAG, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Callum says, hey, crew, my cinema just announced they are re-releasing Dune this weekend. Can't wait to see it for the first time on the big screen. Yeah, they did it, not for me personally, but they did it at the Chinese theater.
They did it just for Jonathan Voico.
Yeah. Jonathan Voico.
They booked out the Chinese theater in IMAX just for me. It was just me.
Yeah, Anne booked our tickets right. For those of you who know, like Dune, the first Dune that came out a couple years ago now, aside from Tom Hanks's Big, is her all-time favorite movie.
Release the Jonathan cut.
Release the Jonathan cut. Dune is Anne's all-time favorite movie other than Tom Hanks's Big. And I remember I took her to see Dune, and she knows nothing about Dune. She never read the book. She's never saw any of the previous series. And the movie ended, the credits rolled, and then I turned to her, and I didn't even know she liked it. I said, so what did you think? And she just kept looking forward, and then she looked over and she goes, I think this is my favorite movie ever. And then she thought, well, I mean, there's still Tom Hanks is big. I'm like, of course. But she goes, but other than that, I think this is my favorite movie ever. And so she booked our tickets to go see it re-released. And then, of course, we've got our tickets to see Dune 2. And I cannot wait. It's my most anticipated movie this year, other than Deadpool 3. All right, what's next?
All right. Uptumbra says, saw Pulp Fiction for the first time last night. That's awesome. Loved how the different stories interconnected. Now I need a Royale with cheese.
It's a brilliant movie.
It's my second favorite of his.
Ages beautifully.
Yeah.
Right? It ages beautifully. It is such a Pulp Fiction movie. Like, that's not just the title of the movie. It is a Pulp Fiction movie. And whether it's Ving Rhames, in there, John Travolta, like all Samuel Jackson. Say it again.
I haven't seen it.
You've never seen Pulp Fiction?
Sorry.
It's not my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. I still think my all-time favorite Quentin Tarantino movie is probably Django. I think that's my favorite one. And then Inglourious Bastards and then Pulp Fiction. But Pulp Fiction is just... And, you know, it came out in a year. Get this. How's this for a year? Pulp Fiction came out the same year as Forrest Gump and the same year as Shawshank Redemption. Mm-hmm. What a year. For like 3 all-time classics. It's just, crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, guys, and that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much for being here and making the show part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in questions, number 1, because you gave us fun things to talk about, but number 2, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so much for your support. Hey guys, want to let you know that we're going to do an open mic a little bit later this afternoon. So if you feel like just much more laid back, relaxed, it's just me and you just chatting casually about the world of movies and stuff like that. If you want to come back and join me for that, that'll be a little bit later this afternoon. Keep your eyes open on the channel for our start time. It's usually like 3:30, 4 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. So if you want to come on by and join me for that, I hope to see you there. So for everybody in the room with me, of course, Ray Ora.
Hey, stay dry if you're in California.
Yeah, Jonathan Voico.
Later.
My name's John Campea. Thanks a lot for being here, guys. And until next time, my friends, bye-bye.